The Blackner's residence. Ace Blackner. So you really got her pregnant, Nathan says as he looks at me. I really thought you had more control than that, brother. I didn't need to hear that from him. He wasn't one to talk about control. We all had weak moments in our lives that we still regret to this day. She was supposed to be on those pills. If she was using them correctly, she shouldn't have gotten pregnant. I tell him. He shrugs his shoulders. There is always a chance that anyone could get pregnant while taking those things. There's always a risk, and you're fully aware of it. I'm curious, though. Why is it her out of everyone else? She doesn't seem like your type. My type? I wasn't even aware that I had a type. Blaze nods in agreement. I must admit that even I am surprised to learn that you got the girl pregnant. She's the last person I can see you committing your life to. Who said anything about committing my life to her? I demand. The second that my child is born, I don't need to have anything to do with her at all. Where is she? Tyson questions me. It's strange that she's suddenly barely around after she got pregnant for you. From what I've noticed, she was trying her best to get closer to you. Why is she suddenly no longer around? I narrow my eyes. I've been noticing her strange behavior as well. It was hard not to notice. Usually, my father would have a woman like her locked up until the baby was born. However, I didn't mention to him yet that I'd gotten a woman pregnant. He already had a woman in line waiting for me, someone that he thought was worthy to have my babies. However, he would be pissed to learn that I got someone like Nicole pregnant. She didn't provide any of the qualities he was searching for. I couldn't deal with my father right now. I couldn't believe that out of all of the women that I slept with in the past, she happened to be the only one that I got pregnant. I knew I should have stayed away from the damn woman. I didn't even like her, not even a little. She was just an easy target for me. Now I was trapped. I had to find a way to fix this damn situation before my father found out what I did. It was the last thing I needed right now. I saw what happened to Arthur when he chose to disobey him. I barely even saw my brother anymore. I didn't want to do anything to jeopardize my relationship with my family. I had a duty, and that was to protect my brothers and sisters. They needed me. As long as they needed me, I had to obey my father's words and do everything he asked. That way, I could always stay close to my siblings. They were all going through their problems. Some of them had found their mates and were keeping it a secret from father. Others were tied in marriages that they didn't even want. Damn it, they were all unhappy, just like I was. I'd keep a close eye on Nicole if I were you, Nathan tells me. Something about her doesn't seem right to me. It seems to me like she's lying to you about something. I feel the same way about her, Blaze tells me. I didn't need to respond to them because I knew damn well that I knew exactly what they were speaking about. I did plan on following her soon. I didn't have any time on my hands to waste on her right now, but the second that I did, I would find out what it was she was keeping from me. I didn't believe that she was up to any good. I also had to confirm that the baby she was carrying was even mine to begin with. However, I wouldn't know until the child is born. Until then, I had to keep a close eye on her. Have any of you been noticing the strange behavior between our sisters lately? Blaze asks me. You mean ever since Lucas married Freya? I ask him. It's obvious that things haven't been the same since then. Nathan sighs. That's something I would rather not speak about. It's obvious that Avery is in love with Lucas. It might even be more than just love. He's already married to Freya, and Freya is possibly even more in love with him. I hate to see it. It's yanking our sisters apart. Both of our sisters are in love with the same man. Blaze sighs. Fate. It's a hell of a thing, isn't it? It sure as hell was. I prayed that I never found my mate in this sickening world. I never wanted to discover what it meant to be in love with a woman. It was an experience that I preferred to live without. Alaric, a cold shower. Nicole, I managed to grit out. Itholpaning, I do not need your help. Please exit my shower. You shouldn't have come in here in the first place. She rolls her eyes. Don't play hard to get Alaric. You completely ravished me during the full moon. I know that you still want me. Why can't you just give in and give me what I want? I'm already pregnant. What's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen? This was already bad in my books. Imagine if Clara were to walk in here and see this. I shook the thoughts out of my head. Thankfully, she wasn't here tonight. I knew it was a bad idea to shower in my damn room. You seem to forget that I wasn't aware of anything that I did during the full moon, Nicole. I can't remember a single thing from that night. I wasn't even aware that I had gotten you pregnant. I tell her, I do not want this with you, so please leave. She steps toward me, and I move out of her way. I don't waste a second as I grab my towel from the hanger and wrap it around my waist. F this. I would shower somewhere else. Alaric, she calls out to me. I ignore her as I rush out of my room. I had to get out of here, not because I wanted her, but because I didn't want to say anything to upset her, even though she'd crossed a damn line. It turns out that I only needed Nicole to offer herself to me. But I knew the second Clara entered my thoughts, the damn thing would spring back to attention. Thrown out of your own room? My sister asks as she sees me walking back to the guest room. Not now, I warn her. Why not now? She demands. I'm concerned about you, brother. I know that you like Clara. It's not something that you were ever good at hiding. It confuses me that Nicole is suddenly back here. I sighed. I truly wanted to tell her the truth, but I couldn't do it until I spilled the truth to Clara first. She should be the first to know this. I had to see her reaction, and then I would decide how to move forward. I would appreciate it if you wouldn't mention my feelings for Clara in this house, I tell her softly. As you know, Carter isn't aware of how much I like her. He has an idea, but ever since then he hasn't spoken to me much. I don't want to make things worse between us, especially not right now when I have to deal with Nicole. She touches my arm lightly. I wish you would just talk to me, brother. I'm here to help. I'm not a stranger. I nod. Just give me a little more time, please. I was asking for extra time from everyone I cared about, but that time was running out on me. Clara. I was nervous. I've thought about this moment so often that I've lost count. I made it all up in my head, and now that it was finally happening, I couldn't stop the wild beating of my heart. I wanted to be closer to Alaric, but I couldn't get the fact that Nicole was back in his life out of my head. How could I be okay with that? Did he expect to keep the both of us in his life? I would never be okay with something like that. I knew I should ask him about it before I gave him a part of myself that I never gave to anyone else. However, I didn't know if I had the strength to do so. I've wanted this for so long that I didn't want to say no when it was finally happening. Something was wrong. I've known Alaric for a while now, and I knew that he wasn't acting like himself. Something was troubling him, and I was very aware that it had to do with Nicole. I'm staring at the door to his office. I've been staring at it for over a minute now. The door opens suddenly without me having to knock. Was he waiting for me this entire time? How was he able to tell that I was here? He stepped aside for me to enter, and I slowly did. I felt a shiver down my spine when the door closed behind me. I expected him to put his hands on me right away. My eyes were closed, and I slowly opened them when a few seconds passed, and I didn't feel him near me. I'm surprised to find him leaning up against his desk with his arms folded over his chest, watching me. I can sense your nervousness, Clara, he finally says. I bite my lip before I say, I'm not nervous. He quirks a brow at me, and I suddenly can't look away from his penetrating gaze. You don't have to lie to me. I can see it very clearly. You can't hide it very well. I run my fingers lightly over my arm to calm my nerves. I don't know what to say. He runs a hand down his face, and I can tell that he is having an inner battle within himself. I'm sorry, Clara, he apologizes. I don't want to do anything that you're uncomfortable doing. I shouldn't have forced this on you. What? I gasp. He wasn't forcing me to do anything that I didn't want to do. I've wanted this for so long. He must know that. I've never tried to hide it from him. In fact, I've even said this to him before. This was never a good idea from the start, he continues. It just so happens that I must fill in for an absent professor. I have 5 minutes left. It's definitely not enough time to do what I want to do to you. But he walks towards the door and places his hand on the handle, ready to throw me out yet again. I shouldn't have entertained something like this, he tells me. I know you deserve better, and yet I continued to mess around. Mess around? What the hell did he mean by that? I can't believe you, I whisper. You're running away yet again. How can you tell me all those things and then change your mind the next day? His breaths are loud as he leans into me. I can tell that you aren't ready for me, Clara. I'm not doing this until I'm sure you're ready. Let's be real with each other for once, I snap. You're never planning on doing it with me, so stop messing with my emotions. His jaw clenches as I angrily push him away from me. I didn't need him to open the door for me to leave. I could go on my own. My anger only increased for the remainder of the day. I spent hours filled with rage because he turned me down yet again. I was supposed to visit Scarlett today, and he knew that, but I chose not to do it. Instead, I went straight home. I didn't need to see him with Nicole again. He was having second thoughts, and it was because of her, not because he thought I didn't deserve him. I wasn't even sure if I ever knew him at this point. I didn't think he would turn out to be such a player. He was playing with my feelings, and I hated how it made me feel. I was done messing around. If he didn't want me, then so be it. I would transfer from his class tomorrow and only visit Scarlett when she needed my help. I angrily slam my room door and throw myself onto my bed. His shirt was still tucked neatly near my pillow. I grab it with every intention to throw it away. Yet for some reason, I couldn't. I knew I couldn't just throw my feelings for him away like that. I never admitted it to myself before, but I was undoubtedly in love with Alaric. This feeling in my chest was stronger than anything I had ever felt in my life. I was in love with him. The physical attraction between us was powerful, but the feeling in my heart was even stronger. My fingers tighten around the shirt as I pull it closer to my chest. My eyes widened when I felt my bed move. That scent. Alaric. He was here. Before I have a chance to turn around, I feel his body right above mine. His lips are now a few inches away from my neck. Alaric, I managed to gasp. Could this be a dream? No. This felt too real to be a dream. He was here. I thought I could stay away from you, he growls against my ear. But I'm sorry, Clara. I can't. I'll never be able to stay away from you. I understand that now. The only person that can take you away from me is you. Alaric. My intention was only to watch Clara sleep. I tried my hardest to send her away from my office earlier because I didn't want to hurt her, but I couldn't sleep, especially not with Nicole constantly coming into the guest room and trying to seduce me any chance that she got. When we were married, she never wanted me like she wanted me now. She confused the hell out of me. Why would she want to make things work when I wanted nothing to do with her? I had no other choice but to come here. The second that I reached Clara's home and saw her holding my shirt in her hand like she often did at night to fall asleep, I completely lost my mind. She's been doing this for a while now. I've watched her so many times at night without her knowing that I could confirm for myself that she did this. I didn't need anyone to tell me because I saw it with my own eyes. Each time she didn't know that I was looking. It always sparked my curiosity and increased my need to have her. I had no idea why she did it. I never got the chance to ask her and actually have her tell me the real reason. Maybe a part of me was afraid that I wasn't ready for the answer. But now tonight, I wanted to know. I wanted to ask her many questions, and I was hoping she would be willing to answer me after what happened earlier. With my luck, she might want nothing to do with me. I deserved everything that she threw my way. "What are you doing here?" she gasps. My body was pressed against her back as she lay on the bed with her face against the pillow, still holding onto my shirt. "I told you, Clara. I can't stay away from you." I answer her. "It's not the first time that I've watched you sleep. I've watched you sleep multiple times. I've seen you holding onto my shirt each time. I told you that there's plenty you still don't know. You have no idea what you do to me. I swear to you that you don't have a single clue about my feelings." I could hear her breath hitch at my words. I wanted to do the right thing earlier. I tried to explain. I thought I was doing the right thing by sending you away. And even though I still think it was the right thing to do, it doesn't change the fact that right now, what I'm about to do is wrong. I feel her shiver beneath me. "What are you about to do, Alaric?" I push her hair away from her neck as I lean down and place a soft kiss behind her ear. "Something I've been dying to do for a long time now, Clara. something that I wish you'll allow me to do for the rest of my life. My hands travel to her waist as I pull her closer to me while pressing myself against her warm body. You can stop me anytime you wish. Is that what you want? She whispers. For me to stop you so that you'll have an excuse to run away again? A low growl escapes my mouth as I slowly turn her around so that I can get a good look at her face. No, I answer her. I do not want you to stop me. Not now. Not ever. I know you may think that I'm going to run away from this again, but I can promise you that I'm done running. Whatever happens after today, I will face it head on. Her lower lip trembles as she stares into my eyes. I was so close to finally letting you go. She confesses. I felt like I didn't know you anymore. I was beginning to think that everything I thought I knew about you was a lie. I place a hand on her face as I gently stroke her cheek with my finger. I don't ever want to disappoint you again, Clara, even though I know it is not something I can avoid. But I can promise you that I will fight to keep you in my life. I'll do everything in my power to make sure that you stay close to me. The fact that I was so close to losing her bothered me. If I hadn't shown up tonight, it would have been the end. She wouldn't have let me into her life again. If she was already this close to giving up on me, what would happen when she found out that I got Nicole pregnant? Clara. It felt like a dream. It was hard to believe that Alaric was in my room right now. I was so close to giving up on him, and somehow he found a way to stop me before I could convince myself to let go. He was like a drug that I couldn't get rid of, one that I didn't want to let go of. I should have let you into that room with me on the full moon, he whispers as he moves into me for a kiss. Why did he suddenly have regrets about that night? I was the one completely disappointed with my own actions for pushing him against his will. I was happy that he couldn't remember anything about that night, but now I wondered if he was speaking about something else. The second his lips touched mine, all thoughts flew out of my head. Your lips are the only ones I crave, Clara. He whispers as he hungrily kisses me with so much passion that I feel it all the way to my toes. You have no idea how hard it's been for me to stay away from you. Even when my brother had you, even then, I've always wanted you. It just took me too long to recognize my own feelings. He truly wanted me even then? I remember not being able to sleep every time he brought you home. I never understood why it bothered me back then. But it would kill me inside, wondering if he was touching you in his room. I knew my brother's reputation. I always wondered if he was taking good care of you, if he was hurting you. Thoughts of you always invaded my mind. And only him. I couldn't believe it. All this time I never knew that it bothered him so much that Carter took me to his room while we were dating. We never did anything. Carter never wanted to. I can smell your arousal. He growls as his mouth moves to my stomach. It's unlike any scent I've ever experienced. It makes me upset to think that someone other than me got the chance to smell something so precious. I gasp. Since when has he ever been this open with me? How sure was I that this wasn't a dream? It was difficult for me to believe that this was true. Maybe I should pinch myself to confirm. If I woke up and realized it wasn't real, I knew I would probably cry for an entire day because of it. Please tell me this is real, I beg. Please tell me you're really here and saying all of these things to me. I don't want to wake up if this is a dream. I want to remain here with this side of you, a side of you that I've never ever seen before. At least not because of me. I've seen him act sweet around Nicole before. That was when he was trying his best to make their marriage work. He wasn't like that around her anymore, at least not in front of me. For the first time in a long time, he smiles. It's a smile so bright that it is almost blinding. I had to take a moment to catch my breath. Watching him, with his gaze on me as he freely smiled, was everything to a girl like me. I could watch him like this for the rest of my life. Clara! I couldn't stop blushing ever since I walked into Alaric's class. Last night was amazing. It was better than amazing. There were not enough words to describe just how good everything felt between us. However, I did notice that he pulled out of me just before his climax. I knew it meant that he didn't want to get me pregnant, and I should be thankful for that. But yet, for some reason, it made me feel incomplete inside. I wanted every part of him, including that. It took a while to even get him to open up to me in that way. Maybe it was possible that eventually he would feel comfortable enough to be that close with me, comfortable enough to want to have a baby with me. I knew from Scarlett that it was something he'd wanted for a long time now. Throughout his entire marriage, he kept asking Nicole to have his child, but she always refused him. I want to tell him that I would be ready to have a baby with him any time that he pleased. If he asked me now, I would be willing to do it with him, not just for his sake, but because it was something I wanted with him as well. Maybe I was getting ahead of myself. Whatever happened between us last night did not confirm that we were in any kind of relationship. Alaric never asked me to be his girlfriend or anything more than that. I had no clue what any of it meant, and I wouldn't know until he explained it to me. His eyes weren't on me for the entire class, but I didn't let it bother me. I knew now that he wanted me. He said it with his own mouth, and Alaric wasn't the type of man to lie. He would never say something like that without meaning every word. "Clara, can I see you in my office?" he asked suddenly. What? Was I imagining those words from his mouth, or did he really just ask me that question? We were in the middle of class. Did he not think that this would cause an uproar? All of the girls look at each other in surprise and agony. There he went, making every girl at the academy hate me because he was showing me more attention than the rest of them. Not that I was complaining. I was completely happy to have his attention. In fact, it felt amazing. But why would he choose now to ask me? He could have asked me after class. I don't get a chance to respond when his gaze travels back to the rest of the students. "Class is dismissed early today," he announces to them without a second thought. Was it possible that he was calling me to his office to continue what we started last night? I could feel my cheeks redden at the reminder. The second I make it to his office, I don't even have a chance to walk in properly. He grabs me by my waist and presses me up against the door. "I'm sorry, Clara," he apologizes. Why was he apologizing again? I thought we were over that stage. "Sorry for what?" I ask, almost breathless. "I couldn't control myself," he answers me. "I couldn't wait. I didn't have the patience to wait. I had to have you. I had to end class early." "Oh," was all that I could say at first. "I thought you were caught up in the lecture today. You didn't look at me even once." His lips are on my neck and chest before he says, "I had to keep my eyes away. If I allowed myself to look at you, I would have taken you right there and then in the middle of the classroom. No one would have been happy to see such a sight." I practically gulp at his words. I didn't think he wanted me this badly. It made my body instantly react to his need. The fact that he needed me this much only made me want him even more. "Clara," I could barely feel my legs for the rest of the day. I couldn't believe what had happened between Alaric and me. It was everything I always expected and more. His hands, his mouth, everything about him screamed sexy. He knew how to touch me in ways that ignited a certain spark inside of me. It was my second time leaving his office for the day. I couldn't believe he'd gone to another one of his classes early to have me all to himself for a few extra minutes. He acted like he was starving for me, but I wasn't complaining. I loved every second of it. I closed the door behind me, but I'm not happy to find Nicole standing a few feet away. Since when did she start to dress like this? She never covered her body this much in the past. It was so unlike her. "What are you doing in his office?" she demands as I turn to walk away. Could she not tell by my hair or my clothes what was happening in Alaric's office? I wasn't allowing her to hurt him again. This was my chance to tell her to back off and leave him alone. It was obvious that I was the one he wanted. I didn't need to blackmail him to have him in my life. "We need to talk," I tell her. She smiles with a wicked look as she nods in agreement. "Yes, Clara, I believe it is time that we have a discussion." Why was she so happy about this? Why didn't she seem worried at all? "But not here," she adds. "I don't want Alaric coming out and hearing what I have to say to you." "Is it because it's yet another lie?" I accuse her. "Lies are all you're good for. I don't know what someone like Alaric ever saw in you. You're not a good person. I can feel it." She sighs as she starts to walk. "Follow me, Clara. I have plenty to tell you. And I can promise you that this isn't something you want to ignore. You need to hear every word I have to say to you." You'll find out just how wrong you are about everything." Something about the tone of her voice convinced me to follow her. I knew that half of the things she said were horrible, but I was willing to listen to her this time. Once, she was willing to hear what I had to say as well. It would have been better for both of us if we had this conversation in private. I follow her out to the parking lot. When we were both sure that no one was around, she finally turned to me. "I'm sure that Alaric hasn't told you anything yet," she says. "If he'd done so, you would have kept your distance from him. He's too nice for his own good. He doesn't know how to turn down an obsessed student." "I'm not—" "Let me finish," she snaps. "You came here to listen to what I had to say, so listen. Alaric is completely off limits. He was never yours. You were just a rebound for our failed marriage. Now that I'm back, there is absolutely no room for you in his life. There never was." I narrow my eyes. "I don't know if you're completely in denial, but you should see for yourself how much he wants to be with me. I don't know what kind of blackmail you're using to get back into his life, but I'm not just going to stand back and let that happen." "I think you're the blind one." She snaps. "He married me. Everyone in this academy knows just how much he loves me. Does anyone here know about your relationship with him?" I can't answer her. "Your silence tells me everything that I need to know." She smiles. "I'm the woman with the title. I'm the only one that they recognize. He was only playing with your feelings. If he truly wanted to be with you, he would have tried hard to prove to everyone around him that he wanted you in his life. Instead, he kept you a complete secret, and you're still a secret while I'm the one back in his home." I bit my lip to stop myself from calling her all sorts of names. I couldn't argue with her words since it was the truth. It was a huge secret. Alaric never told anyone about his feelings for me, and it's only recently that I even knew he had any interest in me. Yet, with Nicole, he announced it everywhere. However, I knew that he also wanted to protect me from everyone else. I knew what could happen if word got out about my relationship with him. I saw what happened to my sister, and it was not pretty. "He's only quiet because he wants to protect me." I snap at her. "There is nothing you can say today that can change my mind about how I feel. I'm not going to back down. Alaric has to choose between the both of us, and I know his choice will be me." "Well, I wasn't entirely sure, but I wasn't about to admit that to Nicole." She sighs. "I truly didn't want to do this, mainly because Alaric did not want me to tell you yet. However, since you're this invested in my ex-husband's life, I think you should at least know about his child." His child? What was she speaking about? Curious, I watch as she removes the coat from around her body. The second it falls to the ground, everything around me goes completely dark. It couldn't be Clara. I couldn't believe my eyes. Yet, the bump in Nicole's stomach told me everything I needed to know. She was pregnant. Pregnant? How could that be? How long has she been pregnant? And why was I now finding out about this? I wasn't aware that Alaric was still sleeping with her. He made it seem as though he didn't have any interest in her anymore, at least until recently, when she returned to his home. This was crazy. There had to be some kind of a mistake. This couldn't be Alaric's baby. He wouldn't betray me like this. It wasn't possible. Someone like Alaric would never do something this horrible. "How are we so sure that this is Alaric's baby?" I demand. "You're full of so many lies that this could be yet another one of your tricks to get him back in your life." Her eyes narrowed, and I knew that I had hit a nerve. I didn't want to believe her, and why should I after everything she's done? "Whether you believe me or not is your problem," she hissed. "The only person I needed to believe me already does. That alone should tell you that I'm telling the truth." I swallow hard. This would explain everything. This is why he's suddenly allowing her back into his life. It's also why he didn't want to tell me the truth. As much as it pained me to admit it, there was a chance that she was being honest. The fact that Alaric could even entertain her wishes and bring her back to his home without a proper explanation was all I needed to confirm that this wasn't some lie she just made up to push me away from him. There was some truth to this, and the only person that could confirm it was the man I was in love with. Why was this happening now? Why would of all the days, why was it today when I was finally happy that he was opening up to me? I continued to stare at Nicole from head to toe. Of course, the bump in her belly was also all the proof I needed. It was definitely real and not a fake bump. But still, I needed to speak to Alaric at least once. I had to confirm everything with him and hear what he had to say, even though I didn't think there was anything that could defend this. I tried to warn you in the past, Clara. She continues to tell me, feigning kindness. I told you that what Alaric and I had wasn't something that could be broken. I admit that I was difficult to deal with, but that never bothered him while we were married. He always worshipped me, no matter what I did. Then you came along, and he found a distraction. But that was all you ever were, a distraction for him. He wanted to hurt me for hurting him. But in order to do that, he needed someone to use, someone that could hurt me. I didn't want to hear this from her, but still, I stayed there and listened to every word. I think that I was in shock. I couldn't find the strength to move my feet. I knew I had to confront Alaric, but I was scared to do so. How would I react when he confirmed all of this? I knew that it would completely destroy me. You were the perfect candidate for Alaric to make me jealous. You're his student, just like all the other girls in his class. You're completely obsessed with him. Where else could he find someone more perfect than you to make his plan work? Sadly, you got caught up in all of it, and you're about to get your feelings hurt. Do you think that Alaric will ever leave me now that he knows I'm pregnant? I bit my lip and tasted blood. It was difficult for him to let go of her even before she was pregnant. She was right. He wouldn't get rid of her now. The fact that she was back in his home told me that much. He already made up his mind to keep her close to him. But the Alaric I knew would never play with my feelings like that. Was it possible that I never knew him all along? I'd somehow managed to get hurt by yet another prince. This time, it was the eldest sibling, someone who I thought would be mature enough not to hurt me the way that Carter did. I thought Alaric at least would know what he truly wanted, but he was no different than Carter. He also would leave me for someone else. I truly am sorry, Clara, she apologizes with no sympathy in her voice. But I did warn you from the beginning to stay away from Alaric. His family are known players. They know how to make women think that they're in love with them. Alaric was and will always be mine. There is no space for you in his life, especially not now when I will have his baby. I couldn't listen to this anymore. I spun around as the tears poured down my cheeks. I didn't want her to see me crying. I didn't want to give her that satisfaction. How could Alaric do this to me? How? Ace Blackner, are you sure that the information you obtained is correct? I asked Nathan. I didn't want to come all the way to this bloody academy just to find out that we were wrong and wasted our precious time. Time was always an important factor for my family. We hated to waste even a second that could have been put into something constructive. I'm positive, he answers me. I wouldn't bring you here unless I was positive that this was the academy that Nicole works for. I couldn't remember if she ever mentioned working for this academy to me. I wanted to find out everything I needed to know about her so that I could confirm that she wasn't around while having my child inside of her. I was not someone that would ever be okay with like that. If she was pregnant with my baby, no other man should come close to her. She must have good connections if she's working for this academy, Nathan tells me. She married into a well-known family, I tell him. Correction, she was. They are no longer married. According to her, the divorce was finalized. He murmurs. I never thought you would ever mess around with a married woman. I try my very best not to punch him in the face. I wasn't concerned about the married woman part. It wasn't something that bothered me, even though I didn't like dishonest people. However, I would have never knowingly slept with her if I had known she was married in the past. I didn't like anything that made my life complicated, and that's why I stayed away from married women. However, she'd lied to me. I wasn't sure why I still chose to sleep with her after the divorce. I knew I liked a challenge, but to get her pregnant when I didn't even like her, that was just plain foolishness. So, he continues as he parks the car that we often used when we didn't want to be noticed. Who exactly is the well-known family that she was married into at one point? Do they have more of a reputation than our family does? I shrug my shoulder. The Prince family. Just like their name, they're treated like royalty around here. He frowns. Why would someone from the Prince family be married to that girl? She seems like a real pain in the ass. Also, she doesn't have anything that could benefit them. Are you sure it wasn't a lie? I nod. I checked it out for myself. She was telling the truth about that. She claimed she divorced him to be with me, but I smelled bullshit. I think he got tired of her and was the one that asked for a divorce, but I can't say for sure. Interesting, Nathan says as though deep in thought. His eyes suddenly widen. I think I just found the confirmation we both need. Have a look in front of you. I think that's your pregnant girlfriend, but she seems to be speaking to someone. Girlfriend? He truly was making it hard for me not to punch him in the face. However, I do follow his gaze, and he was definitely right. That was Nicole, all right? It was hard not to spot someone like her. She looks like she's enjoying herself, Nathan points out, while the other girl she's speaking to looks like she's about to cry. Is Nicole someone who likes to bully or torture other women? I didn't know much about Nicole, but it wasn't something that I would put past her. She was totally capable of being that way. I wasn't paying much attention to the other girl until she turned around so that I could get a good look at her face. The second she did, I felt a sharp tug at my heart. When I spotted a tear rolling down her cheek, I felt like punching the windshield. Why did her tears make me feel so damn pissed off? Why did I want to kill the person responsible for those beautiful tears? Ace, Nathan calls me with concern in his voice. Of course, my brother would be concerned. I don't think I've ever stared at a woman for this long in the past. I want to go to her. I want to comfort her. I want to dry those tears and make her smile. There's another tug at my heart, and this time it's enough to make me want to reach into my chest and rip my own heart out. Ace? Nathan tries again. I couldn't answer him. There was a constant ringing in my ear that told me everything was not okay. Something was happening to my body. It was going into shock and overdrive at the same time. Ace! Nathan shouts. What the hell is wrong with you? Mate. It was one word, but it felt like poison to me. Poison. Clara. I grab Nicole by her hand before she can walk away from me. What the hell are you doing? She demands. I don't answer her as I pull her towards the academy. I don't care about the weird stares as I drag her straight through the hallway and then to Alaric's office. I wanted her to repeat everything she said to me in front of him. I wanted to see his reaction. I needed to know the entire truth, not just pieces of it. I wanted to know everything that happened. Let go of me, you freak! Nicole hisses at me the second I barge into Alaric's office and shut the door with the three of us inside. Alaric looks up from the papers on his desk. The second his eyes land on me, I see all the color drain from his face, leaving him pale and shaken. It was not the reaction I was hoping to see. It was enough to tell me he already knew what this was about. Nicole was no longer hiding her bump. The coat wasn't blocking it from any of us. However, Alaric wasn't even looking at it. He was only gazing at me with a look of remorse. Tell him everything that you told me in the parking lot. I snap at her. Do not leave a single detail out. His eyes finally move from me to Nicole, and she looks irritated. His hands tightened at his sides. What did you say to her, Nicole? I don't turn towards her. Instead, I keep my eyes on him. Why did it sound like he was blaming her when he was the one at fault? He was the one who chose to keep everything from me. He was the one that broke my heart. This pain was unlike anything I've ever felt with Carter. This made me feel like I was dying inside. She lifts her gaze to his. Nothing that wasn't the truth. She answers him with narrowed eyes. I did the hard work for you. I know you wanted to be the first to tell her, but I couldn't wait anymore, Alaric. I'm pregnant with your baby. She would have found out eventually. His body shook with rage, and I wondered if that rage was focused on her or himself. Nicole, he growls, get the hell out of my office. She gapes at him and doesn't even attempt to move. What do you mean, get out? Now, he roars. She narrows her eyes at him. All I did was tell Clara the truth. I think the girl deserved to know the truth about us. We had shocks. You got me pregnant. This baby in my belly is yours, and we both know that's the truth. It would have been better for all of us if you had never kept this from her in the first place. Now look at the mess you've made for all parties involved. My heart squeezes most painfully ever. He slept with her. The fact remained that he slept with her, and it had to be recently. I place a hand on my stomach. This couldn't be happening. It had to be a nightmare. When would I be able to wake up from this? Alaric doesn't respond to her, but surprisingly, she storms out of his office without another word. I jump at the loud noise when she slams the door shut. Alaric runs a hand down his face like he doesn't know where even to begin to explain. He didn't need to explain anymore. I'd heard and seen everything I needed to. You slept with her, I whisper. All this time you've been messing around with me, making me think that you were interested in me when all along you were still sleeping with your ex-wife. He shook his head, and his eyes looked like he was pleading with me for a chance. A chance for what exactly? There was no chance for us ever again. All that changed the second he got Nicole pregnant. He knew all along. He knew all of this, and still he pulled me closer to him. Still, he made me fall deeply in love with him. I promise I never intended to hurt you, Clara. He tries to tell me. I wasn't even aware of when I got Nicole pregnant. I did not know. I only found out recently. I promise you that it isn't something that I willingly did. What the hell was that supposed to mean? How could you not willingly get someone pregnant? How stupid did he think I was? You have no idea how much of my heart belonged to you, I whisper. You have no idea how much respect I had for you. I looked up to you. I thought that you were different. I thought that there wasn't a man out there that could compete with your genuine, kind heart. Yet, all along, I was so wrong. Clara, I was right about something. You are different than the other men. You're much worse than all of them combined. Not even what Carter did to me was as bad as this. Carter may have done some horrible things in the past, but his intention was always to protect me. He never even touched me in ways that you have done because he knew one day that he would let me go. He did it all to protect my fragile heart. But you took those parts of me and did much worse than he's ever done. I cry. My bottom lip trembles as the tears continue to stream down my cheek one after the next. My heart is broken. It belonged to you until now. I managed to get my heart shattered by yet another Prince member. This time, it's even worse than before. Clara, believe me, I don't want to hurt you. I want to find a way to make this work. Stop it. I snap. Stop feeding me all these lies. I'm done believing that you're a good person, Alaric. I'm done with you. For good. I never want to see you again after today. I don't wait for him to respond as I storm out of his office. Ace Blackner. Fuck. I growl. Should I just forget I ever saw her? I think it would truly make your life easier. My brother admits. Ever since I found my mate, my life has been a damn mess. I wouldn't want the same thing to happen to you. But Father would be disappointed in me if he discovered I found my mate and didn't bring her back to him, I point out. He nods. I know that much, but if you value your peace at all, it's best that you leave things as it is and pretend you never saw her. He was right. I saw what happened to each of my siblings and vowed to stay away from that kind of trouble. It wouldn't do my family any good. I didn't have the time for this kind of stress. I needed to do everything in my power to protect my siblings. They needed me, and I couldn't be there for them if I had to worry about a mate and what would happen when Father got his hands on her. Fuck. Nathan growls suddenly. I don't think you want to see this right now. I stiffened. The tone of his voice told me that we were most likely in trouble. I had enough trouble to deal with already. First I got that woman pregnant, and now I found out that she somehow knew my mate. What was the connection between the two of them? From what I'd witnessed, it didn't seem like the two of them liked each other at all. What's wrong? I ask him as I begin to examine our surroundings for any sign of danger. I was always prepared for the unexpected, of course. Nothing could have prepared me to see my damn mate today. I thought I came here to spy on Nicole. Instead, I found someone I never wanted to find. I can see a few of our men, he informs me. Father has sent some of them to spy on us. Damn it. Out of all of the days, why did it need to be today? Ever since Arthur basically left everything behind to be with his mate, my father doesn't trust the rest of us. He thinks that we would do the same thing. To prevent that, he's been keeping a close eye on all of us. At this point, it was becoming a pain in my ass. I didn't need a babysitter. That's not good, I tell him. If they've been spying on us this entire time, they may already know that I found my mate. This means that we have no choice but to take her back with us before they can do the same. Nathan sighs. I'm warning you, brother. I saw what happened to Arthur. You saw it as well. The mate bond is not something to be taken lightly. I nod. I know, but it doesn't look like I have a choice in the matter, does it? It would seem that way, he says as he points towards the entrance of the academy. It looks like your mate is about to leave. We must get to her before Father's men get to her, I inform him. We can't do it out in the open, he tells me. Everyone that attends this academy is from influential families. We have no information on her family. If they know we are the ones that took her, we may bring unwanted attention to our family. Unwanted attention was the last thing we wanted right now, after what happened with Arthur in the past. The second she leaves the academy, we will intercept her vehicle and take her, I tell him. He nods. Sounds like a plan, brother. Congratulations, by the way. I ignore the urge to hold him by the throat and squeeze tightly. His sarcasm was not appreciated right now. This wasn't a joking matter. I had to find a way to control this aching pain in my chest. Mates were our weaknesses, and that's why getting rid of them was always the right move to make. Unfortunately, it wasn't that easy to ignore feelings this strong. I follow closely behind her as she exits the parking lot. Don't make it too obvious, Nathan warns me. I honestly don't think she's paying attention to her surroundings right now. I point out. She's crying hysterically, and I wish she'd just stop because it makes me angry. I should not be this affected because of a stranger's tears. I've been taught to ignore feelings this strong, but this was the first time I had any real experience from those lessons. Do you see Father's men behind us? I ask as I look in the rearview mirror. No, he answers me as he looks behind. Father most likely wants them to be as inconspicuous as possible. I saw my opportunity to stop her around a corner, and I mashed down on the accelerator and pulled in front of her vehicle. I hear a loud screech as she presses on her brakes before it comes to a complete stop. I didn't waste any time as I got out and opened her door. Her eyes are wide, while her face is covered in tears. My jaw clenches as I pull the cloth out of my pocket and cover her mouth. She struggles against my hold before her entire body goes limp. You drive her car, I inform Nathan as I move her to the Jeep. I try not to let the feeling in my chest get to me. Her nearness was affecting my focus, and me. I knew this was going to be much harder than I ever expected. I had to take her back to our home. Father would have to find a way to deal with her. It would be out of my hands the second I stepped into our residence and handed her to him. Alaric. I fell back against the office chair and stared at the wall blankly. I knew I had to tell Clara the truth, but not once did I think she would find out this way. The hate I felt for myself right now was unimaginable. I should have told her. I shouldn't have waited for Nicole to tell her. Now she didn't know all of the details and completely hated my guts. I should have opened my mouth. I should have explained that it happened during the full moon and wasn't even aware that I had done it until recently. I was too shocked that she'd found out everything from Nicole. She thinks I willingly slept with my ex-wife. She thinks I purposefully played with her emotions. She doesn't realize that I didn't have any desire to be intimate with another woman. She doesn't realize that she's the only woman that I want. I knew it was selfish of me to get closer to her while knowing I had gotten my ex-wife pregnant. However, I couldn't control myself around Clara. Whenever I was around her, I felt this uncontrollable need to take her and make her mine. It always confused me and made me do things that I would never normally do. As soon as I heard the sound of the door creaking open, my head snapped up with hope. I was desperate to see Clara again. I was hoping that she would give me one more chance to explain. However, the moment I saw that it was Nicole walking in, my heart sank. The disappointment I felt was immense, as I was hoping for the woman that I was hopelessly in love with to come through that door and bring back my reason to live along with her. "Why do you look so depressed?" she asks as she walks closer to me. As soon as I saw her approaching, I felt a strong urge to push her away. I couldn't even imagine being near her right now. Despite all my efforts to keep it a secret, she had gone ahead and told Clara that she was pregnant. It made me incredibly angry because I had made it crystal clear to her that I wanted to wait for the right moment to come clean about the situation. It wasn't the first time that Nicole spoke to Clara with hopes of pushing her away from me. This time, she may have finally succeeded. "Don't," I growl as I move from the chair. "I can't promise you that I will act in a civilized way after what you just did." As I stood there, seething with anger, she suddenly stopped walking and looked at me with a surprised expression. It was as if she was caught off guard by my reaction, even though I knew for a fact that she was fully aware of what she was doing when she spoke to Clara earlier. I could see the guilt written all over her face, and it only made me angrier. How could she pretend to be innocent now after causing so much trouble? "What exactly did I do that was so wrong, Alaric?" she demands. "You should be thanking me. I did the hard work for you, as I mentioned before. Clara needed to know the truth, and since it was so difficult for you to tell her, I thought that I was doing a good thing by telling her the truth." I run a hand down my face. "Please leave my office. I'm not in a good state of mind right now, and I would rather not have this conversation with you. I need to find Clara and make things right." Her eyes widen. "What do you mean by that? You can't actually be considering being with that woman?" "What I do is none of your business. I made that clear to you in the past," I growl. "The only reason you're in my life right now is because of that baby." "That baby?" she gasps. "Do you mean your baby?" "Leave," I growl. "I told you that I do not want to see you right now, Nicole. Leave." She doesn't move an inch. It's as if she's made of stone. I wait for a moment, expecting her to attempt to leave. I can feel my frustration building up, and I know that I can't stay in this room for a second longer. So without waiting for her to make an attempt to leave, I storm out of the office without another word. The door slams shut behind me, but I don't look back. I need to cool off, and I know that I won't be able to do that if I'm in the same room as her. I had to find Clara. I had to find her and beg for her forgiveness. I had to beg her to give me just one last chance. Alaric. Clara's car was nowhere home. I went searching throughout the entire academy earlier with hopes of finding her somewhere. However, she was nowhere to be seen. Eventually, I realized her vehicle wasn't even in the parking lot. I hoped she might have gone to her sister Scarlett to tell her what I had done. However, I was sure that she wasn't here either. The fact that her car wasn't here told me all I needed to know. Still, maybe Scarlett would have some kind of details for me. Maybe she at least called her and spoke to her. I rushed into the house and didn't stop running until I saw Scarlett. She's staring at her phone, but looks up when she hears my footsteps. "Scarlett!" Her face tells me that she's worried, which means Clara must have spoken to her. Still, I had to ask to confirm my suspicions. "Did Clara try to contact you today?" I ask her as I wait impatiently for her to answer my question. She nods. "She told me that she needed to speak to me. However, that was over 2 hours ago. She should have been here by now." My jaw clenched. "Did you try calling her again?" She nods. "I have, but I haven't gotten a response. She isn't answering any of my calls or messages. I'm beginning to get worried. It's very unlike my sister not to answer my calls, or at least respond to a message." Her eyes narrow when she sees my expression. I'm sure that my emotions were raw right now. I couldn't hide the pain and fear I felt. "Did something happen between the two of you?" she asks me. I run my hand through my hair. It's hard to even look Scarlett in her face as I say, "She found out today that I got Nicole pregnant." Scarlett's eyes widen in horror and disbelief. I was embarrassed to even say those words out loud. "You did what?" Aries asks as he enters the family room. "Why the hell would you do something like that?" "What's going on?" Violet asks. "What's all the shouting about?" "Our brother here got his ex-wife pregnant," he informs her. My sister's eyes almost pop out of her head. "That can't be," she whispers. "You will never do something like that, not when you've been trying so hard to move on from her." Scarlett finally seems to break out of her state of shock as she walks towards me. "What was my sister's reaction when you told her?" I swallow hard. I can barely look her in the eyes. She didn't hear it from me. Nicole told her the truth today without informing me that she was going to do so. I asked her for some time to break the news to Clara first, but she didn't listen to me. What was my sister's reaction like? She demands for a second time. She was heartbroken. She was crying. I couldn't even finish my sentence. I didn't want to remember the look of betrayal on Clara's face when she realized that Nicole was telling the truth. She couldn't believe I would do something like that to her. I continue, even though it hurts like crazy to remember. Am I missing something here? Aries asks. Why would you get her pregnant? Violet demands. Why, brother? Why? I close my eyes and tighten my hands into fists. I wasn't aware of what I was doing. I answer her. You weren't aware? Aries asks. How, unless it happened during the full moon? Violet finishes his sentence in surprise. You slept with her during the full moon. I nod. I didn't do it intentionally. I would never do something like that intentionally. My feelings for Nicole are all gone. I was okay with the divorce. I was happy about it. I would never willingly go back to her or try to get her pregnant. How are you so sure that the baby is even yours? My sister asks. She could have made up that lie to trap you. We all know the kind of person that Nicole is. She isn't someone that can be easily trusted. I woke up next to Nicole the morning after the full moon, I explained to her. I wouldn't have easily believed her if there was no proof that I fooled around with her the night before. Scarlet falls backward, and Violet rushes to her side to hold her. I think we should get Scarlet to a bed. She shouldn't be stressed right now. No. Scarlet stops her. I have to find Clara. I have to find my sister and make sure that she's okay. She's been through enough already. She's always been there for me when I needed her the most. I need to be there for her as well. Do you have any idea where she would go? I ask her. Can you call home and find out if she's there? I didn't think to check there when it should have been the first place for me to look. Wherever Clara was, I would do everything I could to find her and beg her to at least hear what I had to say. I had to tell her that I loved her. I had to say to her that Nicole meant nothing to me. She had to know the truth. Clara. I woke up with an excruciating headache. It was so horrible that I could barely open my eyes. I took one long look at my surroundings, and everything flowed back to me all at once. I gasped and tried to cover my mouth with my hands when I realized that my hands were bound together. Where the hell did that man take me? I was so shocked to find out Nicole was pregnant that I hadn't realized a vehicle was following me. Then it pulled in front of my car, forcing me to stop. I closed my eyes as the heartache shuts through me like a knife. Even under these circumstances, I was still very much heartbroken because of Alaric's betrayal. What hurt the most was finding out that he was never the man I always thought that he was. The image of him that I had in my head was a complete lie, and I couldn't come to terms with it. Why was I even thinking about Alaric at a time like this? I was locked in a room, and I was absolutely positive that I'd been kidnapped. Why would anyone even want to kidnap me? Unless it were Nicole, I wouldn't be surprised if she hired someone to get rid of me. She was fully capable of doing something like that. The door opens suddenly, and I don't see the man who drugged me. Instead, this person looks much older. You're finally awake, he says to me. Before I answer why you are here, let me first introduce myself to you. My name is Gideon Blackner. The man sent a chill down my spine, not in a good way. The name Blackner was very familiar to me. Where have I heard of it before? It was quite a unique name, and a name I don't think I would ever forget. I never asked you. I snap. Maybe pissing off my kidnapper was not a very good idea right now. However, I was pissed that I'd been taken against my will. Why was life messing with me so badly? It felt like I couldn't get a bloody break from this mess. Yes, it would seem that you didn't. But still, I chose to tell you because you needed to know. He continues. Why would I? I demand from him. He smiles and walks closer to me. It just so happens that you are my son's mate. I narrow my eyes. That's impossible. How do you even know that? It doesn't matter how I know. All that matters is that you listen to what I have to say. He tells me with his hands behind his back. What exactly did this creepy old man want from me? Well, keep talking. You're wasting my valuable time. He chuckles. Are you not afraid at all, girl? I was indeed fearful for my life, but my broken heart was more painful than death itself. And maybe I wasn't even scared of dying because of it. But it didn't sound like this man wanted to kill me. If I was his son's mate like he assumed, wouldn't he want to keep me safe for his son's happiness? No, I lie. Did you bring me here in hopes that I would marry your son? Because if that is your intention, you should know that I am not interested in your family problems. It has nothing to do with me. I have my own life, and I can assure you that my family will be looking for me soon. He laughs, and it sends another chill down my back. His laughter wasn't the kind that lit up a room. It was the kind that made you want to run and hide. This man was pure evil, I could tell. What gave you such a foolish idea, girl? He asks, still laughing. Then why would you bring me here? What other reason could there be? I ask. I'm not interested in your son. I do not need a mate. He sighs. I think you have it all mistaken. Have you not heard of the Blackners? We are the only family of werewolves that refuse to have mates. We've made the decision that mates are only for the weak. Since you are my son's mate, do you really think I would bring you here for the reasons you just stated? My eyes widened, and my body shook with a new kind of fear. That name, I knew I heard of it before. The inhumane Blackners. They were some of the most insane werewolves to ever exist. They knew nothing about love and mates. Judging by your expression, I'm sure that you've heard of us already. He smiles. Now it's time for us to get down to business. Get down to business? What the hell did he mean by that? After I use you to test my son's loyalty to me, I will have no choice but to get rid of you myself. He says with a smile. Gee, get rid of me? Alaric. Where the could she be? I demand from my brothers. I knew it wasn't any of their fault, but damn it, I was so worried about Clara, and it didn't help that I knew all of this was my fault. I broke her heart, and there's no telling where she went to calm her mind. I should have never let her walk out of my office. I should have stopped her right there and begged for her to give me a chance. We couldn't find anything on her at all. Not even her vehicle could be seen anywhere. Her parents were freaking out. Scarlett was freaking out also, and Carter was giving me nasty glares throughout the day. He didn't know the whole story, but by now, he could tell something happened between us. I knew that he wasn't saying anything because he didn't want to make this situation worse. However, the second that Clara was found and everything went back to normal, he would have plenty of questions to ask me. I knew if he didn't like the answers to those questions, things could get heated between us very quickly. I don't know, Apollo says, but we aren't going to stop until we find her. Clara is like family. She is family. We must find her. The guilt was eating me up inside. I did this. I was the reason that she was missing. I didn't think it was possible to detest myself like this until now. It's just so weird, Ares says. It's like she just vanished, and we have no clue where to even begin to search for her. My sister will not disappear for an entire day like this. Scarlett cries. I know her. I've known her my entire life. She will never intentionally make us all worry about her. Something happened to her. I can feel it in my gut. Something is terribly wrong. Scarlett's words did not make this any easier for me, even though I knew how true they were. Clara wasn't the type of woman to do something like this, no matter what she was going through. Also, the fact remained that she told Scarlett that she needed to speak to her. She wouldn't have done that if she wanted to be alone. Nicole walks into the room suddenly, and I can feel the tension rise at her presence. No one wanted her here with us, not even me. Her pregnancy bump didn't go unnoticed by almost everyone in the room. By now, they all knew that I had gotten her pregnant. Not everyone in the room believed her, but the evidence was there, and they couldn't deny it. Even I wished that I wasn't the father. It would be perfect if someone else had gotten her pregnant. Is Clara still missing? She asks as she looks around the room. I knew that she was hoping that she was still missing. She was probably the only person here who was happy about her disappearance. No one answers her, and she looks offended. Is no one going to say anything? She asks. Why do you act as though you're actually concerned? Scarlett demands. You're happy that my sister is missing. Nicole frowns. You're acting like I'm the reason that all of this has happened. I'm not to blame for any of this. I'm also concerned about Clara. I knew that was a lie, just like everyone else did. I think we may have a lead, Griffin says as he walks into the room. Things were so bad that we had to invite the Fawns to help us. We needed any damn help that we could get. Luckily, they had a good relationship with both Scarlett and Clara and were more than happy to help. What did you find? I ask as I walk towards him. I was looking for any information, even the smallest details. Someone said they saw Clara's car, but it wasn't her driving it. He informs us. What? Why the f would someone else be driving her car? Does he have any information at all on who it was? I demand. I couldn't hide the panic in my voice. This news only made the sinking feeling in my chest even worse. He shook his head. He said that he couldn't see into the car properly enough to tell who it was. Scarlett gasps, and she looks pale like she'd just seen a ghost. No, she gasps. This cannot be happening. What has happened to my sister? Who could have taken her? It was now confirmed. Something horrible did happen to Clara. She wouldn't just abandon her car like that. But who the hell would ever want to harm her? She was the sweetest woman that I knew. I couldn't think of anyone who would want to harm her. I don't care what the f*** I have to do. I had to find the person that was driving her car. I had to get f***ing answers. Nicole. There was chaos everywhere in Alaric's home. Everyone was in a panic now that they knew Clara had most likely been kidnapped. It was such a beautiful scene that it made me giddy with happiness. Why hadn't I thought of this before? Getting rid of Clara would have made my life so damn easy. I needed to thank the person who took her from our lives. They did me a great favor. This was exactly the good news that I needed today. Who could have been responsible for this? I couldn't think of a single person except me who would want something horrible to happen to Clara. I could see the judgmental stares all around the room. I knew that no one here liked me. The only person who probably cared about me in this room was Alaric. But right now, he was still pissed that I'd told Clara that I was pregnant with his baby. I couldn't believe that my brilliant plan was actually working. Alaric believed me, and there wasn't a doubt in his mind that this baby was someone else's. That reminded me that I needed to return to the Blackner's residence. I was beginning to think that Ace was starting to suspect me. Since everyone here had their own problems to deal with, no one would notice that I was missing for a few days. I could spend some time with Ace and hopefully show him that I wasn't keeping any secrets from him. I quietly slip out of the room and head straight for my car, the exact vehicle that Alaric gifted me while we were married. I should have never tried to divorce the man. He was so deeply in love with me that he would do anything I asked of him. Now, he barely wanted to be around me because of that stupid Clara. At least now, I may never have to worry about her again. Though there was a time when I thought Scarlett would be out of the house, but that never happened because they all saved her. I hope whoever has her kills her before they have a chance to save her. I quickly jumped into the car and drove out of the mansion. I didn't stop driving until I neared the Blackner's home, which was in the middle of nowhere. I never understood why they had to build their home here out of the many populated areas. This just showed that they loved their privacy a little too much. Getting into the Blackner's home was always a task, but it was so worth it to see Ace. After dealing with their hundreds of guards, I finally make my way inside. I didn't have to worry anymore about Ace wanting to see me. He always wanted to see me now that he knew I was having his baby. He would do anything to protect the baby in my belly. I had 2 men willing to do anything I wanted as long as this baby was kept safe. However, I knew everything would be over if Alaric ever learned of the truth. It meant that no matter what, I had to make sure that Alaric and Ace never met each other. The second that they did, everything could blow up in my face, and I truly wasn't looking forward to that mess. I'm surprised when I see Ace and his brothers together. Usually they're all too busy. They rarely have time to just stand around and talk. However, something about Ace felt different today. He looked like he was on edge about something, and even his brothers looked like they were worried about him. Something must have happened while I was away. The second that they all sensed me, they turned to look at me, everyone except Ace, who still seemed like he was going through something. "Is everything okay?" I ask as I take a step forward. My voice finally prompts Ace to look at me. "What are you doing here?" he asks me. I frown. What do you mean? I ask. I often come to visit you, especially now that I'm having your baby. His jaw clenched. You've been disappearing plenty with no explanations. It's extremely weird since you've always clung to me before you got pregnant. Is there anything that you're hiding from me? This is the only chance I'm giving you to tell the truth. If I find out that you're lying to me about anything, you will not like to deal with the consequences. I swallowed hard. It was a direct threat. I knew that Ace was serious. His family wasn't the kind that made this kind of threat and didn't mean exactly what they said. I thought that maybe you would need some space from me. I lie. I was giving you that space. If I thought that it would make you angry by being away, I wouldn't have left. He looks annoyed. My baby is all that I am concerned about. Nothing else. I made it clear that I don't want you close to another man while you're carrying my child. You're free to do as you please after the baby is born. Why did his words make me feel so hot? Ace didn't have to do anything but speak to me, and I was ready to spread my legs wide for him. You seem a little more on edge today than you usually are, I point out. Did something happen? His brothers all look at each other. His hand tightens into a fist, and before he can respond, his father walks into the hallway and sees all of us present. He doesn't even bother paying me any attention. I had a coat around me, preventing him from seeing that I was pregnant. For some reason, Ace was very against him knowing that I was pregnant with his baby. Your mate has finally awoken, his father announces. I narrow my eyes. It takes me a second to realize that he was speaking to my Ace. What the hell did he mean by that? What mate? Clara. I stiffen when the door opens for the second time since I opened my eyes. This time Gideon Blackner was not the one who just entered the room. It's the man who drugged me with piercing deep ocean blue eyes. I felt a fierce pain straight through my heart, and I knew instantly that this man was Gideon's son, a Blackner, and also my mate. After falling in love with Alaric, never once did I wish to find my mate. And now, after having been betrayed by Alaric in the worst way possible, my mate suddenly appears. But he isn't the usual knight in shining armor mate that's going to do everything in his power to protect me and love me. No, this man is the complete opposite. He wants to kill me, or at least his father does. There's so much hatred in his eyes that I know his intentions are not good ones. But what exactly did his father mean when he said that he wanted to use me to test his son's loyalty to him? What exactly did this man need to do to me to prove to his father that he was loyal to him? It couldn't possibly be anything good. Ace, he says. Ace Blackner. I never asked for his name. You're the one that kidnapped me and brought me here, I say with narrowed eyes. I could feel the strong pull toward him, but it did nothing for me. My heart belonged to Alaric. Maybe if I had met him first, my feelings would have been different. It also helps to know that this man and his father hated me. He takes a further step into the room and closes the door behind him. Believe me, I never wanted to kidnap you and bring you here. My wish was to forget that I ever found you at that academy. However, due to other reasons beyond my control, I had no choice but to bring you back here. I highly doubt that it was never your intention to take me against my will. I snap. I heard enough from your father to know that you both want to get rid of me. What was he even doing at the academy? Did he follow me there? And how long had he been spying on me before he actually kidnapped me? He walks behind me, and I gasp when he comes closer to me. Do not touch me, I hiss. Relax, he growls. My intention is not to touch you, never to touch you. Then what are you doing? I ask him. I'm surprised when he unlocks the chain around my hands. I turn to look at him in surprise. Why would he do that? Don't look that surprised, he says as he drops the chain to the ground. Aren't you scared that I will try to escape? I ask him. He shook his head. It's impossible for you to break out from the inside. Only someone from the outside can help you. And there isn't anyone here who would willingly go against my father's wishes. Were they all terrified of their father? It didn't sound like a good way to live. What do you plan on doing to me? I ask him. He shrugs his shoulders. I don't have any intention of doing anything at all. Everything that happens after today will be orders from my father. I sigh. I can't believe that you are so scared of your own father. I say in disbelief. You would truly do anything that he asks of you. Isn't that a sad way to live? He places both hands in his pockets and stares at me. You're a lot calmer than the first time I saw you. You're not crying in the parking lot like you were the last time. I thought that being kidnapped would have made you cry even more. But whatever it was that made you cry must have affected you much more than this. I freeze. He saw me crying. In the parking lot, there is a sudden knock on the door that distracts Ace from our conversation. I was happy for the distraction. I didn't need him to learn about my sad life. He looks irritated as he walks over to the door and opens it. I couldn't see the person, but I could tell that it was indeed a woman. This is no place for you, I hear him tell her. But Ace, that voice, there's no way that I've heard it correctly. However, the more she spoke, the more I knew that I couldn't be mistaken. Leave. I will see you later after I am done here. He tells her. No, she disagrees. You will see me now. It's important. That's definitely her, Nicole. Why the hell would Nicole be here? Alaric! Fuck! I roar as I slam my fist against the wooden table in front of me. I don't even flinch as it breaks in half. The sound travels throughout the once quiet room. Apollo runs in to check on me and raises a brow when he sees the broken table in front of me. Are you okay? He asks. I am, I growl. Wish I could say the same about the furniture. The table wasn't the only thing I'd broken so far. I needed to keep breaking things in order to stay calm right now. I was losing my mind trying to figure out who had taken Clara from me. The mere thought of losing Clara sent scary shivers down my spine. She was not just a woman I needed, but a vital part of my life. Her absence left a gaping hole in my heart that I couldn't fill. Every second without her felt like a slow descent into despair, and I knew that I had to find her as soon as possible. The mere thought of her suffering and being alone made it difficult for me to function normally. I couldn't focus on anything else until I had her back by my side. I needed to make sure that she was safe. I was hoping that whoever had her hadn't hurt her. My body fills with rage at just the thought of someone laying his hand on her. I didn't want to hide my feelings for her anymore. I wanted everyone to know that I was in love with her. However, I knew now wasn't the time to let out that secret. It would distract everyone from trying to find her. I took too long. I should have never hidden my feelings for so bloody long. I should have openly expressed how much I needed her, how much I was crazy about her. There's no doubt in my mind that I loved Nicole at one point. However, my love for Clara was totally different. It was the kind of love that I would die for. The fact that I hurt her in the worst way possible only made me angrier with myself. You are taking this thing with Clara much harder than any of us expected, Apollo says to me. Tell me, brother, are you in love with Carter's ex-girlfriend? My jaw clenched. Do I really need to answer that question? Have you ever seen me act this way for another woman? He shook his head. No, I have not. He says as he sighs, but you are aware that the second Carter confirms that you were messing around with Clara, he's going to be very pissed. He still blames himself for hurting her in the past, and now that you also hurt her by getting Nicole pregnant, I'm sure he's not going to be happy about it. I don't care about Carter right now, I growl. All I'm focused on is finding Clara. She's all that I can think about. I want to bring her home safely. He nods. You have my full support, brother. Our family has always loved Clara dearly. We all want to get her back home safely. I'm happy that you finally found a woman who's worthy. She's more than worthy. Clara is special. We all know this. She was more than just special. She was the woman who held the only key to my heart, and my heart will only belong to her for the rest of my life. Are there any new leads? I ask my brother. Did they find out anything else? No, he answers me. But Atticus informed us that Austin and his family are on their way to assist us. Alpha Prince Austin Lance Vinci. His family was known to be the best out there regarding wars. They are also really good when it comes to finding a missing person. They've had enough experience with it to know what to do and where to even look. They helped us a lot when Scarlet went missing. They were exactly who we needed on our side. Who kept messing with our family? Could it be those damn cage men again? They were responsible for Scarlet's disappearance before. Maybe they were using Clara to get their revenge. What about the Cage family? I mentioned to Apollo. They were pissed when we took Scarlet back from them. He nods. I'll tell the others to run a check on their family. If she's there, we will surely know by the end of today. Everything was taking too damn long. I could hardly control the wild beating of my heart. I had to find her soon. I had to find my Clara. He places a hand on my shoulder. I promise you that we will find her. We aren't going to stop until we do. We also had no clue who had taken Scarlet in the past, but yet we were able to get her back. I know we will get Clara back also. I was holding on to hope from my brother's words. It was the only thing I could do at a time like this. The second I found out who'd taken Clara, I wouldn't waste a single second to get her back. Austin and his family have arrived, Ares informs us as he walks in. Good. It was time to find my woman and bring her back home, not just as the woman I love, but as my wife, as an official member of my family. That is, if she will have me, Clara. Was Nicole responsible for this? Did she hire these men to kidnap me? That didn't make any sense. Why would she hire the Blackners to kidnap me when it was obvious they wanted to do it on their own? They didn't need her to tell them to take me. Besides, I was most definitely Ace's mate. That wasn't something that he could lie to me about. So then, why did Nicole know these men? I've never heard her mention Ace or any of the Blackners to Alaric or anyone else before. I tried to hear more of their conversation, but it was over too quickly. Ace shuts the door and slowly returns to me. I narrow my eyes as I try to read his expression. Who was Nicole to him? You said that you saw me crying in the parking lot of the academy, I say, looking him straight in the eye. That means that you also saw the woman I was speaking to, didn't you? He places his hands in his pockets and leans back against the wall. Why do I need to answer your question? Because I'm absolutely sure that I just heard her voice. I snap. That means that you know exactly who I'm speaking about. It means that you know that woman. He folds his hand over his chest and studies me. It sounds like you're not a huge fan of this woman. How do you know her? I narrow my eyes at him. I asked you first. He looks amused. I don't think I'm obligated to answer any of your questions. In case you haven't noticed yet, you are the one that's been kidnapped. You have to answer my questions, not the other way around. She was married to a man that I know, I tell him. He didn't need to know the whole truth about Alaric and me. He quirks a brow at me. Really? He asks. It's a small world then, isn't it? I fold my arms over my chest. Nicole has never once mentioned knowing the Blackners. Are the two of you close? He takes a few seconds before he finally says, No, we aren't. She's just a woman that I fuck, nothing else. My eyes widen at his words. I couldn't believe he'd just said that to me. You've slept with her? I ask for confirmation. He nods. On multiple occasions. Multiple occasions? Did she sleep with him after the divorce, or was sleeping with him even while she was still married to Alaric? I've never been more interested in a conversation like I am right now. If Ace was telling the truth, Nicole had a lot of explaining to do. I always knew that she was a liar, but there was never any proof that she was sleeping around with anyone else. This is the closest I've ever gotten to it. How long have you been seeing her? I demand. Were you having shocks with her while she was married? He frowns. You seem to be very interested in my shocks life. I narrow my eyes. I'm interested in Nicole's while she was married to Alaric. He quirks a brow. Alaric? He asks. You say his name as though you are quite smitten with him. But that can't be, since he was once married to Nicole. I was feeling extremely frustrated and annoyed with him. It seemed like he was intentionally trying to avoid answering my question by asking questions of his own. I couldn't understand why he couldn't just give me a straightforward answer. At this moment, I felt like no man had ever irritated me as much as he did. All I wanted was for him to tell me what he knew and then leave me alone. It seemed like a simple request, yet he was making it so difficult for me. From everything I've heard from her mouth, this Alaric man was not attractive at all. She said that she never desired him, and I could provide much more for her than he ever could. He continues. I couldn't believe her. Did she truly say those horrible things about Alaric to this man? If that were the case, why the hell would she still sleep with him if she felt that way? Why would she intentionally get pregnant for him? But could I even trust Ace? He didn't seem like the kind of man that one could trust. She lied to you, I say calmly. Alaric is the most handsome man I've ever come across. There are not many men like him. You don't even come close to him. A low growl escapes his mouth, and I think I've managed to anger him. Maybe it wasn't a good idea to provoke him right now, but I was being honest. In my eyes, no one compared to Alaric. It didn't matter that Ace also had looks, and there was no doubt that any other woman would fall for his charms, but that was just not the case for me. Who exactly is Alaric to you? He asks in a low but deadly tone. Clara. I don't have to tell you anything about my life, I whisper. I don't care what you do to me. My heart has been broken to the point that nothing you do can possibly hurt me any more than I've been hurt these past few months. I could feel the tears begin to form in my eyes once more. His gaze softens, and he looks surprised by my words. Opening up to my kidnapper was not something I wanted to do, but for some reason, I couldn't stop talking. Maybe I needed someone to discuss this with. My sister wasn't here, and there was no telling if I'd ever be able to see her again. Someone must have truly broken your heart. He notes, care to tell me about it? Are you sure that's something you want to hear about? I ask him. You aren't exactly my friend, and your father seems like he wants to kill me. Why would you listen to my troubles? His jaw clenched. Maybe because I never had someone to listen to me when I was younger. I guess I have my brothers to speak to, but I am always so busy looking out for them that I try not to burden them with my own problems. I frown. You don't seem like the type that needs to speak to anyone. He shrugs his shoulders. I've learned to deal with my problems alone. It doesn't bother me as much as it did when I was younger. He's lying. I could tell that he's lying. So tell me, he says suddenly, what has happened to you these past few months that is possibly worse than getting kidnapped by a Blackner? I sigh. I was in what I thought was the perfect relationship with someone named Carter. Almost everyone at the academy looked up to our relationship. We were even considered the golden couple at one point. We matched each other perfectly. But Carter was never in love with me. He cared about me like he would a sister, and I only learned about that after he broke my heart. I saw pictures of him and another woman, and she apparently wasn't the only one he'd been sleeping around with. He looks angry, pissed even. He sounds like an asshole. I smile. I thought the same at first. I tried to hate him, but I couldn't, I say. It gets worse, though. Worse? He asks in surprise. I nod. It turns out that Carter was in love with my sister the entire time. He frowns. What? It was truly my fault at first. My sister hated Carter's guts for what he did to me. But then I asked her to flirt with him. I wanted him to fall for her, and then I wanted her to break his heart like he broke mine. Of course, that was a foolish plan from the start. I should have never asked my sister to do something like that for me. I inform him. He looks even more shocked. You asked your sister to flirt with your ex-boyfriend and didn't think that would backfire on you? I smiled at the reminder. I couldn't believe that I could smile under these circumstances. I know you think Carter is an asshole, but he isn't. He had his own problems that I can't speak about. He was only trying to protect me. I can't force someone to love me, and the truth was that I didn't love him the same way I thought I did either. He was perfect for my sister. They were perfect for each other. They're expecting a baby soon, and I'm more than happy for them. He folds his arms over his chest with a look of displeasure on his face. I don't think I would have been able to forgive them if I were you. He wasn't there. He doesn't know the full story. If he knew every detail, he would have been able to be happy for them as well. And there's more to this story, I tell him. More? He asks with a raised brow. This is the part where you might be interested since it concerns Nicole, I tell him. He doesn't look happy at the mention of her name. It reminds me of Alaric. Whenever I mentioned her, he also became unhappy. Did she make everyone around her unhappy? Go on, he encourages me. After things ended between Carter and me, I realized that I was developing feelings for his older brother, Alaric, I say. But he was still married to Nicole, even though he seemed to be very unhappy in the marriage. He cared deeply for her, but she mistreated him throughout their entire marriage. Eventually, as he got closer to me, he realized that his marriage with Nicole didn't make any sense, and he asked for a divorce, which she eventually gave to him. Did he make you happy? He asks through gritted teeth. I nod, very happy until I found out that he got Nicole pregnant. There's a complete silence. There's a knowing look on his face, and his mind seems to be racing with thoughts. Did he tell you that he got her pregnant? He asks me gently. No, I answer him. Nicole was the one to break the news to me in the parking lot. That's why you saw me crying there. As I observe him closely, I notice a muscle incessantly twitching in his jaw. My words have definitely upset him. Suddenly, he appears to be overcome with frustration as he strides towards the door with a sense of urgency, his footsteps echoing through the room. With an angry expression on his face, he forcefully slams the door shut and storms out.